Dear listeners, feel the real fear with us. Horror stories from all over the country and abroad. Those who have been, are being, or will be involved in today's episode, greetings and love to everyone. I hope everyone is well and healthy. Like every episode, I am with you all to present the event you sent. The person who shared this story, Noah. The incident took place in Arizona, 12 or 13 years old. It was the year 1997. By Michael had a cassette player, and whether by Michael, he would listen to music on the cassette player. Noah's habit of collecting new cassettes. One day, Noah's brother-in-law came to visit his in-laws' house with a new bicycle. Everyone was chatting since the new groom had come to the house. By Michael bicycle from his brother-in-law and went out for a ride. In that same village, Noah had a friend whose grandmother lived nearby. That friend used to stay there for a while. So Noah took the bicycle and went to visit his friend. When he met his friend, the friend said, "Noah, let's go to the village of Joyrampur." Noah was his friend's home village. Noah agreed because there was a cassette shop, Joyrampur. At that time, cassettes were made of magnetic tape, which was played in a cassette player. Now, those days are gone. Cassettes are no longer used. Then came the era of CDs, and that too has ended. Anyway, Noah was thinking about buying a cassette, so he agreed to go to Joyrampur. The two of them started heading towards Joyrampur village. The distance from the Arizona railway station to Joyrampur was about 4 kilometers. You could travel the whole way along the railway line, and the surrounding areas were just fields and farmlands with no houses around. There was another road through the village, but part of it also passed through fields. It was winter, so they wore warm clothes and started their journey in the afternoon. Along the way, they met two villagers who asked, "Where are you going?" Noah replied, "We are going to a friend's house." The villagers didn't say anything further. They reached Joyrampur just before sunset. There, Noah bought a music cassette from a shop and then went to his friend's house. Noah had visited Joyrampur many times before with his older brother. Noah had visited Joyrampur many times before with his older brother, mostly traveling along the railway line and a few times by the village road. Soon, the evening call to prayer was heard, and darkness fell quickly due to the cold winter. Noah kept urging his friend, "Let's go home." But his friend said, "I need to wait for my father to come back with money before we leave." Noah kept insisting, but his friend wasn't willing to leave. Eventually, Noah got frustrated and said, "I'm leaving." His friend replied, "I'm not going today." Annoyed, Noah took the bicycle and set off alone. By then, it was completely dark. Noah started riding his bicycle down a road beside a field. Because of the cold, he could see things clearly from a distance. He saw a dirt road next to the railway line and thought it was the way to his village. To get home from Jaipur, you had to cross some fields. So Noah took the bicycle and entered the road, thinking it would be safer than traveling along the railway line, where there was a risk of being robbed. At that time, theft and robbery were common, so he decided to take the village road instead. After a while, the road became rough and it was hard to ride the bicycle, so Noah started pushing the bicycle along. All around him, he could see only sugarcane fields and tall grass, but no sign of people or the village. Noah still thought he was on the right path, but was he really? James moves towards the field, but he can't see the road ahead anymore. Noah moves towards the field, but he can't see the road ahead anymore. Scared, he starts crying. In the distance, he sees a large mango orchard and thinks there might be houses there. He rides his bicycle into the orchard and sees a fire burning in the middle. He thinks someone must be sitting by the fire for warmth but also feels afraid. What if they are bad people? As he approaches, he sees an old woman and an 8 or 9-year-old girl sitting by the fire. The girl is searching for something in the old woman's hair. Noah, terrified, begins crying and says, "Grandma, please take me home." The old woman remains silent for a moment and then says, "I'll take you home. Don't be afraid." She asks Noah where his home is. Suddenly, she claps her hands and monkey-like creatures descend from the mango trees. They look at Noah angrily, making various sounds. The old woman tells them, "This boy is in trouble and needs our help. Let's take him to the village." It was around 1 a.m. and the cold winter night had left the surroundings eerily quiet. The old woman says, "Follow us." Noah, still scared and crying, begins walking behind them. First, the monkey-like creatures, then the girl, then the old woman, and finally Noah. Eventually, they reach a railway track. After walking for a while, they come to an empty bridge. 2 men were sitting there, but upon seeing them, the man panicked and ran towards the field, shouting, "Oh mother, oh father, what did we just see?" Noah doesn't understand anything. After a while, another man approaches from the opposite direction. But when he sees the monkey-like creatures ahead, he too screams and runs away. But when he sees the monkey-like creatures ahead, he too screams and runs away. Noah is confused, unable to grasp why everyone is so scared. They keep walking. They reach a spot near the village of Gaighat, where a horrific train accident had taken the lives of hundreds of people. A memorial had been built there. Around the area were a few dead palm trees where guards. A memorial had been built there. Around the area were a few dead palm trees where guards used to collect sap. When they arrive near the memorial, the guard on duty screams and runs towards the village, shouting, "They have killed me, eaten me, saved me." But Noah, the old woman, the girl, and the monkey-like creatures continue walking forward. Suddenly, after being silent for so long, the old woman speaks. Throughout the journey, the old woman didn't say a word. She just kept walking. By Michael also didn't say anything. Noah was walking ahead, and suddenly the old woman spoke up. "Son, take a slight detour. Don't go straight ahead." At that moment, John Alvai wondered why she warned against taking the straight road. Was there some danger ahead? So he peeked ahead and saw a terrifying cobra standing with its hood raised in the middle of the road. He understood then that the old woman had told them to take the detour to avoid the snake. Noah, although scared, didn't feel overwhelming fear since there were others with him. He thanked the old woman, saying, "Thank you, Grandma. You saved us from the snake's bite." They continued walking for another 5 minutes and crossed the railway tracks, reaching the village dirt road. Ava said, "You have reached your village now. You can go alone from here." But by Michael instead, "Come to my house with me." Ava replied, "If I come, that will..." Ava replied, "If I come, what will you serve me to eat?" By Michael, "We have sweets at home. I will get them for you." At that moment, the old woman said, "Not today. I will have your sweets some other day. I have a lot of work now." As they were having this conversation, by Michael, his 2 uncles, and the man who guarded the dead palm trees calling out from a distance, shouting by Michael, "Run! Run!" His uncles seemed frightened, seeing something from afar. By Michael scared too. Instead of telling him to leave the bike, they were telling him to hurry home. Not understanding the reason behind it by Michael, he wasn't told enough to grasp what was happening or why they were telling him this. But he sensed that they had been searching for him for some time. That's why they were calling out to him. It was getting late and they might. Regardless, Jonal had to return home. He bid farewell to the old woman, and as he approached his uncles, instead of scolding him, they lovingly welcomed him. The dead palm tree guard asked by Michael, "Where did those monsters come from? Did you feel scared talking to them?" Jonal finally realized why everyone was running away in fear earlier. Now, extremely frightened, he told everything to his uncles. They told him, "We heard you went to Jairampur on your bike, and we were coming to get you. On the way, someone ran toward the village, saying they had seen 3 enormous monsters with you. They hadn't believed it at first, but decided to bring the person along to check if Jonal was in danger." By the way, Noah's another name is his nickname called by the villagers. The man said he was 3 giant creatures with Jonal. The man said he saw 3 giant creatures with Jonal, resembling monkeys but 45 times bigger or even more. Each of them was covered in fur and their faces looked like burnt humans. Unlike normal monkeys with black faces, these creatures' faces appeared charred. The fearsome sight was clear even from afar. That's why they had been shouting for joy. Michael. Upon hearing all this, Michael frightened, and they took him home. He developed a high fever, and fortunately, he recovered after a week. 14 years passed without much incident. Then in 2011, one of his relatives died. After attending the funeral, Jonal was returning home, and it was almost 11 at night. Walking along the Jairampur railway line, he approached a place called Phakapul. Suddenly, he noticed someone sitting on the road with their head lowered. As he got closer, he heard a voice say, "Hey grandson, you didn't bring me sweets?" And then laughter followed. Shocked, Jonal looked up to see the old woman who had once helped him so much. The memory of her warning about the dangerous monsters came rushing back. Stricken with fear, Jonal fainted on the spot. When he regained consciousness, it was deep into the night, and his family was gathered around him. He asked what had happened, but no one could recall. They told him that he had fainted and didn't remember anything else. Then they lifted him up and brought him back. Anyway, maybe someone said that actually he had fainted out of fear. However, many insisted that he just got scared. Yes, some said that the old lady was asking for sweets, but not in the way it's being exaggerated. So after this, Noah discussed the matter with a respected cleric. The respected cleric, after listening to everything, told him that although it was an evil class of Jinn, it wouldn't harm anyone. It had helped you when you were a child, just because you called it brother and were crying. Plus, you were very young. That's why it helped you then. Now that it saw you on the road, the old Jinn lady playfully asked for sweets, but you fainted from fear. Anyway, it won't harm you. And if you feel like it, you could give the old lady sweets. She won't harm you. This really stuck with Michael around 2014. Michael have a child. He decided to take sweets for the old lady to celebrate his joy. he bought 12 kilograms of very good quality sweet and went to the old lady's place without telling anyone. When he got there, he saw the same old lady along with the little girl and the monkey-like creature standing there. The knowledgeable Jinn lady said, "Abha, you have come here. I have heard about it, and I am very happy that even after knowing who we are, you have brought sweets for us." She added, "From now on, whenever I feel like it, you will bring sweets for me." The old lady gave Joynal's child a gold chain as a gift. Ever since then, by Michael, lady have met several times and maintain a good relationship. That little girl who appeared with the old lady still looks like the monkey-like creature. Apparently, it has appeared by Michael several times but in different form. However, Joynal's family has never been scared of it. So that was the incident. Sometimes unexpected incidents happen in life that change a person's life dramatically, just like it did with Joynal Bhai. Even though it was an evil class of jinn, it helped him back then and their connection still exists today. That was the incident. Thank you to James for sharing these two amazing stories with us. We hope you enjoyed both of the stories as much as we did. If you have had any such miraculous and scary incident, you can send it to thehorrorstories@yahoo.com and we will try to read the story in the next episode. Miraculous and scary incident, you can send it to thehorrorstories@yahoo.com and we will try to read the story in the next episode.